So, when I saw the trailer for Control at the PlayStation conference, my first reaction was, what is this game? This game looked so crazy, and yeah, it got me really interested. The mystery surrounding it looked really cool. So, I've been kind of scouring the internet, watching interviews with developers to find out as much about it as I can. So, this is literally answering my question, what is Control? So, here is everything that we learned about it. So, Control is by Remedy Entertainment. This is the team that brought us the Max Payne series, Alan Wake, of course, which is one of my favorite series, and most recently, Quantum Break. I will admit, with Quantum Break, I was a little bit disappointed. That game was definitely a more mainstream kind of game. I enjoyed the gameplay, but the story didn't do much for me. But Control looks like it's going back to the heydays of Alan Wake, and it sounds very interesting. So this game is going to be a supernatural action adventure title. That's what they're terming it. So what do we know about it? Well, who is the main character? The main character is a woman by the name of Jessie Baden, and she basically has a dark and mysterious past. In her childhood, she has an encounter with an unexplained supernatural event or phenomenon, and this basically, for the rest of her childhood and life, she's kind of on a quest for answers to find out what this is and what happened, and to shed a bit of light on her childhood and on the mystery surrounding it. So the basic premise of the game is this quest leads her to a place called, that they're calling the Oldest House, and this is effectively the headquarters for the Federal Bureau of Control. This is a US government agency based in Manhattan that are tasked with investigating supernatural phenomenon. Think X-Files, that kind of thing. So she basically stumbles across the headquarters, and when she's there, unfortunately, she arrives at a time that is let's say not very good for her, and very kind of dangerous kind of environment. So the headquarters have effectively been invaded by a malevolent force called the Hiss, and we don't know much about what this force is. I assume they're kind of supernatural or extraterrestrial in origin, but what they ultimately do is they corrupt all of the humans and agents, and also the building, and they cause it to transform and morph, and they're kind of controlling the building, and ultimately your goal is to stop the Hiss and obviously retake control. The answer is in the title. So through circumstances, you become the director of the Bureau, and you also discover that you have supernatural abilities, including the ability to banish the Hiss and to retake control of the Oldest House. So what looked really interesting in this was the gameplay that we got to see. They did show a behind closed doors demo of the game, and we got to see little snippets of this during interviews, but it looked really, really, really cool. So what do we see about the gameplay? Well, you're going to have a weapon, and this weapon is called the service weapon. They're likening it to Excalibur, to King Arthur's Excalibur, in that it can only be wielded by a worthy individual, by one person. Whoever wields the weapon becomes the director. So just like Excalibur, whoever can pull Excalibur from the stone becomes the King of England. It is kind of the same thing. This weapon is very powerful and is very unique because it has the ability to transform, and you can sort of morph it into different elements, and apparently you're going to be able to sort of grade it and morph and change it as the game progresses. So we got to see parts of it where it was kind of like a pistol, and they called it grip and shatter. So you were able to sort of shatter parts of this kind of morphed world. Apparently later you can also morph it into a shotgun, and we did get to see little bits of that. So the weapon looked kind of weird and interesting and kind of cool. But what I really loved were some of the superpowers that you actually had access to, and these looked really fun. So we got to see a shield ability. It looked very similar to one of the abilities we had in Quantum Break. So you can actually like pull things in front of you, like debris in front of you, and use it as a kind of shield. You also have telekinetic powers, so you have the ability to pull and grab things from the wall and chairs and parts of the building and throw them at opponents. But one of the abilities that for me was my favorite, and I cannot wait to try out, was the ability to levitate. So you have the ability to kind of fly and sort of hover in the air, and it just looks cool. So you have the ability to sort of get up and like pull things and throw things at enemies. And yeah, the levitate ability for me looked so friggin' sweet. And that was the most exciting thing for me that I saw. So this game, it's going to be a sandbox experience. And they're sort of saying that there is going to be a main story to the game, but it's not going to be a very linear path. Instead, it's going to be about sort of exploration and exploring this world, the oldest house, which is constantly branching and changing as the Hiss kind of like corrupt and morph things. And you're basically going to be exploring this world. There will be story missions. There will be lots of side missions as well, which are going to be connected to the story. And you're going to be ultimately trying to retake control and sort of, remove that corruption from these areas. So we don't know much about Control, except that it looks interesting. The visual style of it definitely reminds me a lot of Alan Wake and that kind of style. There are elements of Quantum Break as well in terms of the superpowers and abilities. But yeah, it's got me interested, definitely. So what do you guys think of Control? What did you think of the trailer? What do you think of the whole premise and the superpowers? Let me know in the comments section below what you think of this game. Is it something that you're excited for? Is it something that you're looking forward to? Let me know in the comments section below. Anyway, hope you guys have a great week. Take care. And as always, happy gaming. Bye, guys.